Hello everybody, it's Honey Lou. So I'm gonna do a video response to Second Thoughts about the mission. Rachel, hi Rachel. And it's gonna be those negative cards. So this is about me talking about my favorite cards that are negative aesthetically, or me loving them aesthetically, and I guess share some experiences or lessons that I went through with these cards. I thought that would be kind of fun. So yeah, I got a lot of cards. I got some Thoth, I got some Kale Herzer, I got some Rider-Waite-Smith, and that's about it. Oh, and I got some Marseille, just one. Okay, so the first one is the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man to me represents surrendering and also sacrifice. So it's about basically releasing something in order to change. So experience that I have with this card is about my drug addiction. I was repeating a bunch of cycles over and over again, and it was just the same stuff every day. Same shit, different day. And it was very miserable. Things were falling apart, and there was something that needed to change. So like these are like the big spiritual lessons that we go throughout our years. And you know what's really cool is like seeing these negative cards makes it very comforting for me, because I guess just because it's part of life. So when I learned tarot and I learned about all these like lessons that we go through, I was like, okay, so everybody goes through this in different ways. So we all have different ways of learning. It's just our own journey. So that's one thing I really loved about tarot, is because I was like, wow, okay, I'm not like stand out, I'm not the only one going through this, or it's not just bad, it's not just going at me, I don't know how to like say that, but it's kind of just that, like, when you're going through these negative things, you feel so alone, and it's very comforting to know that, like, I wasn't alone, like, this happens, and it's all part of the adventure, right? It's experiences are blessings. So back to my drug addiction. I remember the day that I surrendered. I was in rehab. I was in my bedroom, and I was like, okay, I'm 29 years old, and I'm turning 30, and I'm ready to surrender. Like I just said, like I was like, okay, the 20s were about having fun, doing whatever. And then later on, I was like, okay, now 30s is about being 30, flirty, thriving, I've always say that. And I was like, that's when I'm starting to get my shit together. I'm still young, but that's like when I expect that I'm going to start figuring things out. I'm going to be more mature, more responsible. And so, yeah. And then, you know what? The one thing that I had a hard time with about surrendering was I have an eating disorder, and I did. And so when you withdraw or detox from a drug addiction, usually you gain weight. And I was really worried about gaining weight. And so that's why it took me so long. And then when I was like surrendering, I was like, I don't even care what I look like. It doesn't matter. I don't care about anything else. I just care about getting clean. That's it. And seeing Julian. And so that's basically it. But the cool thing is once I released control, I didn't gain weight. Well, I gained weight at the beginning, but then after that, it just fell off naturally. There was nothing, I didn't diet, I just ate healthy, I just ate whatever I wanted. I had like a good size of dinner every day. I was eating normal stuff, but I still lost weight, and I'm smaller than what I was. And that happened naturally. So I was like, okay, cool. So that's basically, that's the key. That's success, is to actually release control. And then there was a serenity prayer that they had us say every day at rehab, and that reminds me of the hangman. So it's, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. So things I love about this card is that it's green. The green's supposed to symbolize Venus and also healing the heart chakra. And then these white, these white things is supposed to symbolize Keter. I forgot what these grid are, but this Hebrew letter right here is Mem, and that's supposed to be the element of water. So basically this is all about water. And just surrendering to the flow of life. That's it. Just enjoying it, going with the flow. Not worrying about anything, just done. I love this Hangman too. You're not really going to see a difference until I do this. And I pulled out some Carol Herzer ones that I love. This one's really beautiful. There's something about her negative cards that are very striking to me. We're going to be here all day. And then I love just the Rider-Waite-Smith, the original, the OG. So I was reading the Rachel Pollack, her older book, one of her first ones. This is supposed to look like the World card, the same posture. And then I guess this posture is supposed to symbolize all elements, so all 4 elements, fire, earth, air, so whatever. And then this one looks like an upside down 4. So she said something about the 4s in that book too, but that doesn't look like a 4. That looks like a backwards 4. This looks like a regular 4, but this is supposed to symbolize some kind of triangle. I forgot what it was, but that's just supposed to be the element of water. And I like that there's like the snake. So the snake could be like, you know, the starting of a death and rebirth, and then we go to death. And the death card was actually one of my favorite cards when I first started to read Thoth. It was one of the ones that I thought was really cool and to read about how he's dancing because he's free. He's changing. He's becoming more of his authentic self. He's shedding his mask. And I think that's really, really beautiful. This is Scorpio, so they symbolize death and rebirth. Also, sexual energy. Also, this Hebrew letter, I forgot what the name was but it's fish, I believe. So there's that fish. These little bubbles are supposed to be his other life. So you could see like there's a little sperm there, and then these are supposed to be like other bubbles of him, other forms of him. And so I have a hard time looking at my old Instagram photos because like I wasn't my authentic self. I feel like now that I'm more authentic, I'm more myself, I'm more real. And before I would look at my old photos and I would see myself smiling and I would just be like, you know, I would kind of cringe because I wasn't happy at those times. And it was kind of like feeling like I was putting on a show, you know. And I feel like a lot of people do that because we're still trying to find our place, or like we have this way of like thinking the way we're supposed to be, or kind of seeing other people be, and that's how we're supposed to be. And so that was one of those big lessons of being like, I don't have to do that. Or setting boundaries too. And there was things I remember forcing myself to do, like go to like gatherings, go to places because I thought I had to, because it was respectful. And like now if it doesn't feel right for me, I don't do it. I don't do things that I don't feel comfortable doing anymore. So that's about being my authentic self. I love this death card too. And I really love Carol Herzer ones are so beautiful. This card in general is iconic, I feel. And that star is beautiful. And this one, I love this one. And then the little baby, that's so sad. And I really love this one too, the Thoth. Colors. And yep, that one's it. Okay, so now Devil. This one's not really my favorite devil, but I wanted to talk about the devil. But I do have some favorite devils that I want to show. So the Carol Herzer devil, I love. I love how it's just so, like, it looks like illusion in a way. Like, it's so sparkly and you could really not see what's there. So it's like kind of that cloudy, it's mysterious. And, you know, it's like, I don't know, there's something very magical and very creative about this too. And I love this one. But the devil, so I had a funny thing. This thought came. So it's basically kind of like being consumed by your fears, or like things that are only natural. Like you feel like you're doing something wrong when things are just like natural, you know, and you don't really know that when you're younger. So one thing, okay, this is TMI, but okay, I thought about puberty and masturbation. So when you're young, you're figuring yourself out and you feel really guilty about it. Yeah, so that's something I was thinking about. It's like having all, you're doing something bad and then you think it's bad, but it's totally normal, right? And you just have all these hormones and stuff. But I was totally thinking of something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. That's what popped up in my mind. But it's basically about like having these desires and you have fear and the fear is consuming you. Also, it's a very sexual energy. It's obsession. That's how I could say that the devil is, but also it could be about like drug addiction as well, or just like negative, fearful thinking. But the devil energy could be actually pretty good too, in ways. Okay, so I kind of... Okay, let's go to the tower. The tower I think is beautiful. I love seeing this little mouth right there and these geometric people, like abstract. And I love seeing the eye, and I like how this is very like it looks just chaotic, madness, and beautiful. But yeah, I remember the times when I had tower moments when I hit rock bottom, and that's basically what this card's about. It was probably when my ex broke up with me. I think a lot of my rock bottom moments were usually with a breakup. Yeah, for sure. That's when everything would crumble down, and that's basically how it is. It's just this abruptly chaotic madness, anger, sadness, confusion, shock. And hold on, I don't want to get these cards mixed up. And I love this card. This is the older Thoth. Oops. You could barely see what's going on, which I kind of like. I love that. The yellow with the orange. Kind of looks like fire. And the iconic OG Rider-Waite-Smith, of course. Oh, and I forgot, I was going to show some Marseille too, so I pulled out this one I love. It's just so cute and funny. Don't take life so seriously. The death is cute. The devil. And the tower. I love this tower so much. It's really beautiful. Okay, and then so now it's the moon, right? Yep, the moon. The moon is about, okay, so I was reading, okay, so these dots are supposed to be like little drops of blood, and it's supposed to look like the Hebrew letter, like that. It looks like that. Wait, I'm showing you the wrong one. The P, right here. So those drops of blood are supposed to symbolize, what is it, Hod? I forgot. But the moon is about, to me, it's mostly about like fear of failure, fear of the unknown, letting your fear kind of get to you. Also, this is feminine energy of menstrual periods. So that's why this red is all here, because this is supposed to be about female PMSing time. So this is about like feeling very uncertain. Also, I think about like lack of faith, not trusting the process, but you're still going, but you're still fearful of what's to come, what's to happen. And it's beautiful. This is actually one of my favorite cards in the Thoth. So the Death and the Moon were probably my two favorite major arcanas when I first got the deck, and probably the Lust. And I love this moon right here. It's very, very colorful, so you could see more of like that blood color, which I love. And pull this one out. I love the yellows, the purples. This one's probably one of my favorite moons of all times. I guess I didn't pull that one out. And I like the old vintage one. I like how it has like this Polaroid. Okay, so now let's go to Five of Wands. So in the Rider-Waite-Smith, this talks about like competition as like healthy, friendly competition. But in the Thoth, it's strife. And so this is about change. Usually change is always conflicted. Adapting to something new is always conflicted. But I love the yellows and the greens. So this is about kind of like keep pushing through. So you have stability, you got everything you need, but it's like still, I don't know, like working on projects, I guess, would be another way to talk about this card. I love this card too. So like I have a fear of creating art, and I have a fear of messing up. And so I keep going, but there's still like that conflicted of like changing and readapting. So yeah, and I really love how Carol Herzer did her Five of Wands with the colors. This one's one of my favorites. All those colors are so beautiful. Those pinks, the orange, this ground, that green, it's so pretty. And then I love the original Five of Wands. And that's a Leo card, Saturn Leo. Okay, let's put these away. Seven of Wands. I love Seven of Wands. So this is value, I can't even pronounce that. This is another Leo card. So this is about, the Rider-Waite-Smith talks about standing your ground, stand up for what you believe in, setting boundaries. What I found out in the Cozy Witch Tarot talked about accountability. So that's another cool way to look at this card is accountability. Are you holding accountability for yourself? So this could be like, you know, putting yourself out there and getting rejected and feeling sorry for yourself and not taking accountability for your actions, or playing the victim card, or whatever. But like in a healthy way, this could be about like, say if you're your authentic self, say if you do tarot and people don't like it, people think it's weird, people will judge you for it, but you still stand your ground. And then I really love this one. This one, the old one's cute. I like that filter look. We're gonna be here all day. I love this one. And this one too. I love that background. Okay, now let's do the 9 of Wands. So this one is not really a bad card, but this one is strength. So this is Sagittarius Sun. Is it Sun? Yeah. Or Sagittarius Moon. Either way. But this is about integrity, courage. This is also about... One thing I love about this one, I think it to me, it's about recovery, about pushing through. And when I see this card always pop up, I always feel very it feels like it's very comforting. Because when I get this card, I know everything's going to be okay. This card tells me that, you know, it could be rough right now. You could be feeling like uncertain. But this one tells me that it's success. Success is coming. So I always get happy when I see this card. I think you're going to push through, you know. Things are coming together. Just stay patient. Love this one too. And let's see, do I have any of these ones? Nope, that's it. Okay, so now let's do Oppression, 10 of Wands. I love this card. These two are both very beautiful. So this is about like basically having a lot of baggage, I would say, not releasing baggage, or also just having so much things going on and not asking for help, or thinking that you're a burden and not having... It's basically kind of just like... So I have trouble with like asking for help with my kids. I'm a single mom, so like I feel really guilty about asking people to babysit for my kids. Well, like my sister, my family. I feel like it's a burden, or I feel like it's a burden when I'm working on something and to have them watch, like, because they're my kids, you know. So I have all of this like stuff that I feel like I need to do and nobody else. And also it's about kind of like things that kind of really tick you off, and you like let it go, you let it dust under the rug, and all that stuff kind of adds up. And I feel like, isn't this one kind of matches up with the Tower, I feel. I think that's what it was. That one or the 9 of Wands. There's some connection there about ready to blow up. And these are some of my favorite 10 of Wands. I love that green. I just think it's aesthetically beautiful. And this one too. Okay, now here's this one. I love how it's like blues and orange. Okay, so this one I just stuck in there because It's the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is about abundance. It's about getting together with friends, having a good time. But every time I get this in a reading, it's usually about a third party. So third party interference, I don't know why it's not like the Three of Swords, but every time this comes out and I do a reading for somebody, and a third party is usually accurate or very true what's going on, which is weird. But it's kind of cool when you find things like that, when you know, the card says this, but really when you learn from experience, it's another thing. I love that. So yeah, it could be like having friends, good time, or it could be like there's somebody else in the mix too. A love triangle. I like this one. Okay, so I think I'm gonna skip. No, I don't want to skip this one. Okay, so this one, this is luxury. So this is about material things, being surrounded by beautiful things, but also this could be about buying too much stuff, or sometimes it just like depends on what's around like the cards. This could be about like building a foundation in a relationship because it's for instability. But this could just be about like love for pretty things, beautiful things, too much beautiful things. But in the Rider-Waite-Smith, it talks about boredom, kind of sitting your own shit, like not taking that offer and just pouty, you know, like kind of maybe selfish a little bit. Just not really there. Or is it about like sitting there looking at these cups, pouting too? But the offer's right there, but they're just like too into their mind to not really know it's like it's there, but you know, they're not really looking. And I really like this one too. But usually when I see this card, it doesn't really feel positive to me. It usually feels kind of negative when I see it, or I'm a little unsure how I feel about that card. But I think it's a really beautiful card, especially with this one. Okay, and then the beautiful Five of Cups. So everybody knows what this feels like: disappointment, sorrow, sadness, grief. I feel like I know what grief feels like pretty well. You know, I feel like if you haven't experienced grief, you're not living your life correctly. You know, you gotta experience it once, right? There's always like a positive to every experience, and that's probably like the Sagittarius in me talking. But yes, disappointments. Thinking about some disappointments I've had, mainly in love, with some boys that I had high hopes for, and it never worked out. Disappointment. But I love this card too. It's really beautiful. And I want to show you some Carol Herzer decks. I love this one. It looks really magical with the background like that. And so I like how they have the story of just looking at these cups and not realizing what's behind her or him. And there's more things to come. But it's always important to, when you do feel disappointment or grief, just accept how you feel and feel it. It's important to take your time. I took my time, so I was in a relationship for maybe 6 years, and off and on, and then finally we ended it. But it took me 2.5 years to heal. I didn't date anybody, didn't do anything, and that was very healing for me. And I just took my time. I didn't hurry up. My ego didn't get in the way. My ex went in a relationship super quickly and I didn't. And, you know, there was times where my ego would get in the way and would want to try to get him back, you know, but, you know, I just let it go. That's all you could do. Just take your own time. That's really important. Okay, so now 7 of Cups. I love the 7 of Cups. 7 of Cups is about, it could be about like unstable commitments, drug addiction, debauch. I don't know what debauch means, but this is a Venus card and you could see with the greens. Also, this is about like poisonous. I forgot what it is, but this is all supposed to be like poisonous, yuck, muck kind of stuff. But I think it's so beautiful. This is also a Venus card. Is it Venus in Cancer? Or no, it's Venus in Scorpio. But I've always thought this card was really, really beautiful, regardless. And this is like maybe afraid about commitment, not really knowing who you are, and not knowing like your purpose, not knowing if you're on the right track, and just really unstable, really confused, maybe overstimulated. I feel like I get that card when I'm overstimulated with like everything going around, not thinking correctly. Love those. Okay, so 8 of Cups. This is a really beautiful card. The power to walk away, or this could be a travel card. But this card is really, really beautiful. And do I really have anything to say about it? I don't know. No, I don't think so. But I think it's a really beautiful card. I really like the background. It really reminds me of back home in King Cove. We live by the water, and so this looks like what I would see when I looked out the window. And, well, now I guess I have a story. So I was in a relationship, or I was dating this guy. We never really got that far, but we were like I was really in love with him. And my parents actually told him to stay away from me, and he listened, which was respectful, and I understand. But like, just the way he ended it was not nice and rude. It was like one day it was good, one day it wasn't. And, you know, to kind of be like, I know my self-worth. I'm better than this. I don't need this. I don't need to chase somebody like a dog. And I walked away. I moved. And that's actually kind of like the best thing ever, because I actually never would have thought I would have moved out of that town if it wasn't for that time, that day. I couldn't bear to look at him. I just didn't want to see him with other people. I just couldn't be around him if I wasn't with him. And that was a really hard relationship to get over. I love that card. I love this one. It's so pretty. And I love this one. One of my favorite cards, for sure. Okay, now the 3 of Swords. I love the 3 of Swords. And actually, unpopular opinion, I love the swords with the 3 hearts. I love it. There's nothing, I know that that's like a lot of what I hear. People don't like this, but I love it. I don't mind it. I don't mind seeing it, because I think it actually depicts, you know, sorrow, broken heart, you know. Do I have any other ones that I want to show? No, I think that's it. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about that one. We all know what that means, right? Okay, 5 of Swords. I love 5 of Swords. This is one of my favorite cards in Thoth. And this card used to scare me when I used to get it, especially with the Rider-Waite-Smith. And one thing I loved about learning the Thoth is that I felt like it really kind of toned down that interpretation of the Rider-Waite-Smith. So this talks about defeat, or this is like inner conflict. It's not about win at all costs. It's more so of like, and also I found out this is like one of my birth cards. So I'm Venus in Aquarius. And this also could mean like detachment. And this makes a lot of sense for me because a lot of like Aquarians need alone time. That's a priority. And I'm one of those people that definitely need my alone time to like just be in my thoughts, to be really creative. That's something that's like essential for me and for growth for me. And that would actually kind of bother a lot of some of our relationships. They were kind of confused of like why I wouldn't go to the park with them. And but that's something that I learned, that's just me, and that needs to be compromised regardless, because that really helps me to charge, I guess. And then I love these ones. These ones are really beautiful too. So deception, you know what, this is actually pretty accurate sometimes too, depending on what cards are around. We were on Five of Swords, right? Yeah, we were. Okay, so Seven of Swords are next. Oh no, yeah, okay, yeah. So I did have the Six of Swords out, but this is not really a negative card, but I think it's a really beautiful card. But with the Rider-Waite-Smith, it does seem kind of negative because it's like a really painful thing. And it's like you're still like in that painful situation, but you're moving to calmer waters. And also this is, I like how it says science. So it's basically kind of like gaining the knowledge to heal, I guess. So learning about dysfunctional like family dynamics helps me to heal. Learning about fight or flight helps me to heal. So when I was like in this mental conflict of the Five of Swords, especially when I went to rehab, I had a lot of outbursts, a lot of rage. And so even like addiction, understanding, like just feeling really unstable and not knowing how to cope. But this is the card of like finally getting it, finally understanding like through knowledge, how to align my emotions, my thoughts, really helps. So like this is about finally balancing, and you see how these swords are like going towards this cross, but actually these crosses are harmonizing the cross and they're protecting the cross. And so this is always a very comforting card to get. But yeah, it's just like when this card pops up though, that's like kind of like you're finally getting out of that negative mindset, that basically self-sabotaging card. The victim, it could be like, playing the victim card, not really knowing how to get out of that. Depression, anxiety. Okay, now we're at the deception card. Woohoo! So this is what I like. Okay, so what I like about, like this one does say deception, sneaky, cheating, and this is actually pretty accurate when you get this card. Someone's lying. But one thing I liked about the Thoth is that it toned it down a little bit. So you see how these swords are going at this sword, like they are attacking this sword, and these are all planets right here. You see the moon, and then you see all these ones right there. So these are all against this sword. So there's a lot of interference of having to break through, just many conflicts. But usually this is like a cheating card for sure. Usually there's some kind of infidelity going on when this card appears, or just not there for the right reasons. Okay, and then, yeah, I like this one too. Love those colors together. Okay, so 8 of Swords. Oh, here's another one I like. And I forgot to show you my favorite 7 of Swords. This one. Okay, so the 9 of Swords, I love this one and this one. So this is about anxiety, conflict, inner conflict, cruelty, basically to self. It's really hard to get out of this mindset, especially like when you feel really helpless, really consumed by your own thoughts, not knowing how to pick yourself up. It could be about like mental emotions both attacking at once. Sleepless nights. Definitely felt like this too. Some other things I remember too was when I was growing up, I used to live in this house and it was falling apart. It was like this house trailer thing that my brother gave me. It was like my little party house, but it was falling apart. And everybody was too busy to help me. We live in a small town, so you can't just call somebody up to help with like plumbing or things. And so I was helpless. Now I know how to do stuff. I always felt like it was like kind of a guy's thing to do, was to do all that work, because that's how I grew up. I see my dad do all the work, my mom cleaned, whatever. And so I felt helpless because I didn't have a boyfriend that was helping me, and it was myself, and I had to like, try to get help, and I didn't want to ask anybody for help, and the worry about trying to find somebody. Okay, and I missed one, but this is my favorite 8 of Swords of all time. What I love about this card, it has Jupiter up there, so it's Jupiter and Gemini. And what I loved about what Aleister Crowley wrote about this card was it's interference now, but it's only temporary. So it's temporary interfering, but you still got the Jupiter. So like this card gives me comfort because it could be interference now, but things will start to pick up and things will start to get better. So I love that card. It's one of my favorite cards. And 10 of Swords. This is actually one of my least favorite cards in the deck, but I do like it in the older one. I like how bright it is. It looks very 3D. But I do love the standard Rider-Waite-Smith, Carol Herzer decks. Oh, I forgot to show you guys. These are the 9 of Swords I love. Look how beautiful she looks. But I like how hazy it looks too. And, oh yeah, here's the 8 of Swords I forgot to show. And then here's the Hitting Rock Bottom. This card's very comforting too because it's like all the conflict's finally done and over with. And it's time to move on for a new phase, starting fresh. And that's what I love about how the Rider-Waite-Smith interprets this card. And I think this is a perfect way to interpret the 10 of Swords. I think this card's beautiful too. And I really like the modern witch tarot with the 10 of Swords with the cell phone. She's laying down. She's like, and it says everything's going to be okay or whatever. I like that. But here's another 8 of Swords I love. 9 of Swords. I like that restlessness of can't sleep, nightmares. Iconic 10 of Swords. Okay, now we're in the Pentacles, finally done, almost done. Okay, so the 4 of Pentacles, this could either go either way. Wow, I'm far behind. Okay, I like the 7 of Swords. Sorry, let me just show you. This one's beautiful too. This is my favorite 10 of Swords. I have to show you this one for sure. It's so beautiful, that color. Look how spiritual it looks. I love getting this card. Okay, so 4 of Pentacles. These are some of my favorite 4 of Pentacles. This card is power and the Thoth, and then this one is, so this is about control, kind of like, so this could be about either power, this could be about jealousy, this could be about like holding on to things. So like holding on to tight, like things too tightly and not like letting things just flow. But also this could be about like saving money, being really good with your money. Also this could be talking about saving your money, or investing in something more like responsible. But usually this is kind of like the tightwad card, I would say. But I think this is really beautiful with the structure. Like this could also be about like having like a structure down with finances or career, stabilizing. So just depending on whatever. But this could just, you know, sometimes when I get this card, I'm not too sure how to interpret it, but I just kind of look at other cards. But usually it's kind of more so negative than positive. But I love this Four of Pentacles compared to this one. Here's this one. This one's very sharp. I wonder if I could just show you real quick. I don't know if you're not going to really see it, but this one's like super, super sharp compared to this one. This one's really sharp. This one's more darker with shadows, so you're not going to really tell. I love this Four of Pentacles too. Okay, and now so Five of Pentacles. This is worry. One of my favorite ways to interpret this card is, okay, that's about like financial increase or decrease. It's about losing money, being worried about money. But my favorite thing to look at is like the feeling behind it. And this could be like the feeling of not feeling good enough, feeling in lack, feeling like you can't do it, you're not enough. Also, if I get this card in like relationship readings, usually this is kind of like they don't feel good enough for you, or they're, you know, you deserve better. They, you know, they don't think they're worth it. And this was actually one of my favorite cards in the Thoth too. And I was like, oh wow, it's so pretty. And then I was like, oh, that's a negative card. And I was like, oh, but then, you know, when I learned about it, it didn't bother me. So now I gotta figure out what card these go to. Okay, and then here's this one. This one looks really different, but I like it. And this is Benny's Fool's Apprentice favorite card, the Five of Pentacles. And I wonder if he'd like these ones. Definitely. This one was one of my favorite ones. This is like my first favorite Five of Pentacles, all that glitter. It's so beautiful. But this one definitely shows like that left out the cold, feeling in lack, not good enough. Maybe, you know, misses the church or don't go in there because they feel like they're not worthy, or just maybe stinky and dirty or whatever. I don't know. But I think that's a very, when I heard that, it was very profound for me to understand what the Five of Pentacles meant. Okay, so Seven of Pentacles. I liked what Rachel said about it being bad money. Failure. This card, there's so many ways. I always get really confused with this card, but it just depends on what cards are around or whatever I feel. But what I love about the Marseille is how this card is interpreted with the stuff. So it looks like this fours right here. You see this four is like stability. Then you see like this arrow right here. But then you see this other one dropping in. So it's like a piggy bank. This is dropping in. So the opportunity is coming in. But you are... It's good. It's good opportunity. Like this is a card about like accepting what's coming. Because you deserve it, basically. And I like that. And I love how, you know, these ones talk about harvesting, planting seeds. You know, even every failure is experience, so that's always important to know. Like, every single job that I've done, even though I felt like it was not really my true purpose or my life purpose, I've always learned something from them. So there's never like any experience that I've went through was never really a failure to me. I've always took something. There was always something I was able to take from that experience, which is beautiful. Yeah, and I like the OG. And these ones are really beautiful. These cards are so beautiful. I love them all. The colors, they all look so beautiful together. I liked how dark that one is. It looks so good. Okay, I gotta make sure I don't mix these up. Woohoo, we're done. Yay, we're done. Okay, cool. Yep, that's it. Okay, so I'm gonna clean this stuff up. I hope you guys like this video. Thank you. Bye.